This is an RNZ podcast.
Hello.
Kia ora.
How are you?
I'm doing okay for someone 30 minutes from freedom.
From freedom.
We just have to pass through this dark tunnel of Midweek Mediawatch and I will emerge into the light of a new job, a new dawn.
Have you heard the expression "a face like a fried horse" before?
Never in my life.
Really?
I feel like you made it up.
Maybe I did. If I did, it's a great expression to make up.
Well, you can a face like a. It's one of those things.
Yeah,
face like
you can
a
do whatever.
slapped.
You can do whatever you
Slapped oyster. You know, you can just put two words
can.
together.
It's
a
like
face like a charged banana.
Yeah.
If you put face like a in front of two words, it's going to sound like an insult.
Give us your best face like a blank blank. 2101's the number. Welcome. Breaking news. You've already alluded to this, but just to make it explicit, this is your final Midweek Mediawatch.
Yes, and I've got a little scripted statement for you here.
Oh, yeah.
It says, do you want to read that one?
No, I don't know what you're
Greatest
talking
media
about.
commentator to ever do it.
Oh.
You have maybe that's part of my script, but if you could read that out, that would be great.
Breaking news. This is Hayden Donnell's last mua. Wow, greatest media commentator to ever do it.
Thank you, Emil. I've tried to perfect my craft here, and I do feel like I have gotten very close to perfection. So it's great that you've recognised that.
You know what I heard, though?
What?
I heard something about you.
No?
So one of the greatest privileges one can have at RNZ is
Yep.
to be invited by the host of Music 101 to go and do a mixtape. And I hear that Tony Stamp asked you if you wanted to do a mixtape, and you said, "No, I'm good."
Yep. I was busy. I've done it once before, and then he's invited me back, but it's for my first week in my new job, and I thought that we'd organised to do it the week before, but apparently not. I can't do it. I'd love to go in and talk about Bruce Springsteen.
What a slap in the face. Someone has texted in, "Oh no, not Hayden. I love Hayden. Is he getting the band back together, maybe?"
No, Rachel, my wife, quit my band, which is quite humiliating. Thanks for bringing that up. But yes, my own wife quit my double act musical group, and
That is
I don't think she wouldn't get back into it. To be honest with you, I struggle with lyrics now. I hate writing them.
Really?
Yeah. Kids yell at me whenever I do try it. I've got something going on. If you're a psychologist, then please, I've got a mental block on this particular issue. Get in touch, 2101.
2101. We better talk about some media stuff, hadn't
Yes.
we? It has been a big news week. News organisations, of course, have to make decisions about what to prioritise in their coverage. Tell me, Hayden Donnell, how did One News, New Zealand's, arguably New Zealand's biggest news product, lead things off on Monday night?
Still the biggest single news-watching, news-consuming experience, the One News at 6 p.m. We've got a recession on, Emil, an associated debate about whether we need to pump up house prices to get that wealth effect, get people spending on their new kitchens. There's the Gaza war, of course. Recently there was a double-tap strike on a hospital that killed journalists and healthcare workers and rescuers. And you had to weigh up all these things, and TVNZ on Monday night opted to prioritise this story instead.
Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. We begin tonight with exclusive news. The biggest sporting event in the world is coming to TVNZ. Next year's FIFA World Cup will be broadcast to New Zealanders right here on TVNZ1 and TVNZ Plus, with fans having the option to purchase a one-off event pass for comprehensive and uninterrupted coverage of all matches, replays and highlights.
Was that the biggest story in the world that day, Emil? Maybe I'm being a bit of a crotchety old grump here.
No, I don't think that it was the biggest story. Well, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I feel like it is a new story.
It is a new story. I'm going to talk about it for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Is it the lead news story
for 6 p.m. on a Monday? News? Maybe not. It's a 5-minute editorial basically for this new TVNZ product, which is the paid-for FIFA World Cup streaming. And I guess in these straight-in times, Emil, sometimes you just got to pump up your products, right? You got to sell, as they say.
Well, those TV rights presumably didn't come cheap.
Well, no, I assume not, but they probably did the numbers, ran a business case on this one and decided it was worthwhile. So the reporter who presented this one, Zion Dale, put it like this.
TVNZ has seen some big numbers for free-to-air sport. The summer of cricket reaching more than 2 million Kiwis on broadcast channels. There's appetite for football as well, even without Kiwis being involved. Last year's European Championships recording 2.7 million streams.
Yeah, so they've already got proof of concept, right? They put out their...
It's a lot of streams.
Yeah, 2.7 million. They put out their top 20 streamed shows of 2025 recently, and he's right. New Zealand cricket is at number 6 there, just behind Bluey.
Just behind Bluey.
It's pretty hard to beat Bluey.
And Bluey's a pretty great show.
Called Rogue Heroes. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I have to say, there's a lot. So what was, the most streamed show was One News at 6, of course. And then The Substance, that movie. The Rookie, I don't know what that is.
Rookie and Rogue Heroes, don't even know.
Yeah.
That's out of my jurisdiction.
Bluey, though.
Bluey, I absolutely get that.
Especially as a man with 2 young children.
Yes, it's notoriously the only tolerable children's show, and as such my kids don't actually like it that much.
Have you seen the Cricket Bluey episode?
I think I have.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
actually really pride myself on knowing almost nothing about kids' TV, despite having had children for 6 years.
Yeah. It's a great...
For instance, I still don't know all the Paw Patrol pups' names. There's a Scout or something. Oh, no, I don't think that's one. I don't know. What are they? Trash Man? I can't remember. I honestly can't.
I suppose a certain irony to TVNZ announcing a streaming product on the classic old 6 p.m. news bulletin.
Well, that's right. You just said it's still the number 1 most streamed product. And it's a bit of a collision of the future and the past, right? You've got FIFA streaming. It's a paid-for service. So this is TVNZ for the first time going into pay-for. We're going to talk about that. But then you're announcing the future on what's meant to be this kind of anachronism relic of the old world. One News at 6 p.m. But it still has a huge amount of lingering power. It still turns a profit. It apparently reaches 1 million people. David Seymour, I think, poured some doubt on that when they were telling him that recently. But it's still a very big product, and if they want to publicize their new service that they're offering, it's still the best place to do it. So it's interesting. But I guess with them going into pay TV, paid streaming, that's kind of Netflixy territory. Are some of the journalists going to be looking over their shoulder now going, oh God, is this our future? Are we going to become... Well,
it is the first time that TVNZ is offering any kind of paid subscription product. But then again, I suppose it comes not long, doesn't it, after the Sky 3 thing. So maybe there is just a merging of the worlds here.
Well, you got to wonder if they're cognizant of that looming threat. They've got the biggest paid TV subscription service that has taken over their main rival across town at 3, and they know that they have to take on the likes of Sky and 3, which is now bolstered. So this is a big play by them, and this is what Chief Executive at TVNZ Jodie O'Donnell said when she was asked about TVNZ's plans.
As a free-to-air broadcaster, there will always be rights outside of our reach, and so being able to introduce a pay component, it means that we can compete for those rights.
There, some people will be sitting at home thinking, are you using taxpayer money to charge people?
No, we are not. Well, TVNZ is a commercial broadcaster, so we don't receive any funding from the taxpayer. So it's really important that we make these decisions with a commercial nous.
Yeah, so no taxpayer funding going into purchasing these rights, but it's probably good news if you are someone that... Is it good news for consumers, Emil? Is it better? I mean, this is a bit of a point of contention. Is it better if actually all of the things are sort of concentrated in a few different places in this case, like, or one place where you can get all of your sport and all of your... Well, because now you're paying for how many? I mean, I'd love to know how many subscription services people are paying.
Yeah.
You've got 5 or 6.
I would love to hear that too, actually.
And now here's another one.
Yeah, here's another one. I mean, I don't know. I didn't pay close attention to this announcement beyond the headlines, but... presumably, the live coverage is what you're going to pay for. I'm guessing that delayed coverage will be on free to air.
So I can give you these details, Emil. I didn't. I gave TVNZ the short end of the stick here, didn't I? So all Whites games are going to be free to air,
live and free to air.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think there might be some select games that are free, but if you want to see all of the games at the times that you want to see them, then you have to buy this package.
Well, I think I'm hugely in support of free-to-air big sports events.
Oh, I love it.
I think it's really good, and I think that countries that have had good public response to free-to-air stuff and have then locked that content subsequently behind paid TV platforms like England did with the cricket after they won the Ashes in 2005. I think that's retrospectively seen to be a very bad move. So if it gets more free-to-air sport on our TV screens, then yay, I say.
Well, it's been a bit jarring being a New Zealand cricket fan because sometimes it's on TVNZ and then it's off TVNZ and back and Sky, and then sometimes it's on the recent Zimbabwe. I was watching that, the Test series
Were you?
on 3.
Did you watch that?
Yeah. I'm a cricket
You're
fan.
really
Emil.
into cricket, aren't you?
We could have talked about all these years. We could have been talking about it, but we just didn't.
We went for basketball.
Oh, wow. Now we've discovered it.
Well, we will see how that
19
goes.
minutes left. Let's talk cricket.
We will see how that goes for TVNZ. Let's change tack and talk about NZME. Of course, your final Mediawatch, Midweek Mediawatch, had to have some discussion of NZME.
Oh, I didn't
You
bring in the
didn't
theme
have
song.
the song. Yeah.
Mediawatch.
This was not the only media business news of the week. NZME revealed some information about its financial situation.
Half-year financial results made a $400,000 half-year loss, down from a $1.9 million profit in the half-year prior. But there's some fundamentals that are looking pretty sound here, because this result included $5.2 million in one-off costs. So
Yeah, that's a lot of one-off costs.
it spent $4.4 million just closing down community papers. It offered a bunch of redundancies. I've covered a lot of those. I've had lots of rounds of redundancies. You know what the other big one-off fixed cost was?
Tell me.
Legal fees to try and bat off the activist Canadian shareholder Jim Grennan in his board takeover attempt. I think there was a lot of...
How much money do they spend on legal fees?
It seems to be in the hundreds of thousands. I don't have an exact number on that. I know it's $4.4 million for the community papers and $5.2 for the one-off costs or overall. So
Hundreds of thousands.
somewhere in there. And
To be a lawyer, eh?
money...
Well, not
honestly.
every lawyer, to be fair.
Not all lawyers.
Not all lawyers.
They're all pretty similar, aren't they? Some of them
No.
like to say I'm one of the good ones, but yeah.
I'd probably say that about journalists, media commentators.
Never trust them. It was probably money well spent in the end, though, because actually Jim Grennan did end up getting fewer seats on the board than he initially wanted. He wanted himself
Yes.
and 3 allies. You might remember this. That would have given him a controlling stake in the board. He would have been able to do what he wants. In the end, they came to a compromise. Stephen Joyce took on the chairman role, and Jim Grennan was the only one of his 4 potential board members that actually got a seat. So...
Well, and part of that compromise was that Jim Grennan got the company to agree to set up an editorial board too, and its membership has now been announced.
Yes, this is another part of the announcement. Editorial board, its members will be, drumroll please, former Weekend Herald editor Mariana Alexander. Do we do like little sound effects afterwards?
I'll just do the same one.
Joseph, I didn't mean that for you, Mariana.
No, not
that was just an example of one we could do.
No, we won't
If
do
you're
that.
listening, I don't want to get sued on my final show.
We'll do neutral ones for each one.
Yeah. Josie Pagani. Okay. Former National Press Secretary Brent Webling. And Philip Crump, that's Grennan's man.
What can you tell me about these various people, please?
It's very so Mariana Alexander, she's a pretty respected editorial leader. She headed up the Weekend Herald, the Herald on Sunday. She was the head of Premium when the company was launching its paywall, which was pretty successful. She's been on the Media Freedom Committee, so she's a bit of a newsroom veteran, which probably is something of a relief to some of the journalists.
A lot of people, I would think, yeah.
Yeah, Josie Pagani. She's ostensibly left, but she's definitely to the right of the left, and she has some pretty crotchety conservative opinions that she mentions in her fortnightly column for Stuff. She stood for Labour in 2011. She's a media commentator on the TV. You've probably seen her. She's also involved in charity work. She's the chief executive of something called Child Fund. Brent Webling, to be honest, didn't know much about him. But
He used to be a press secretary. years
for
ago.
3 National
I think
Party
when
leaders.
I was a baby, the little baby reporter.
You might have contacted
might have
him
called Brent
because he
Weber,
was
yeah.
press secretary for John Key, Bill English, and one other.
Simon Bridges.
Oh, maybe. Yes, I don't want to. It might have been even older than that.
Who knows?
Philip Crump is, of course, Jim Greenan's one of his chief allies in this sort of effort that he's embarked on to take over the company or take over the company board. He led a short-lived News Talk ZB Plus venture. It kind of didn't work and it failed to fire. He writes as Thomas Cranmer on Substack, where he's penned a bunch of treatises. How do you treatises on media ethics as well, sort of his own principles, and he's got some strong media opinions.
Is it what you would describe as a balanced board insofar as?
You'd have to say, I mean, it leans right politically.
Well,
really.
but what do you mean by that? What is the left-right spectrum?
I don't like these things.
Is it useful
really.
here?
I mean, yeah, because is that the totality of someone's identity?
Exactly.
Really? Are you left or right? It's a useful shorthand, I guess, that maybe Josie Pagani has stood for Labour and Brent Webbling has been a National Party guy. I
Don't
think,
we all contain multitudes, Hayden?
I mean, we all do contain multitudes, and I don't like to pigeonhole people as being definitely you're from the right and so you're going to hold all of these views and have all of these opinions all the time. But I mean, it's a relatively useful shorthand. I would say the presence of Mariana Alexander is probably important because it's not really whether you're right or left, though I'm sure that conservatives have different opinions on how the news media is failing than people on the socialist left do. But I think the presence of Mariana is important because she knows the types of decisions that someone like Murray Kirkness is making on a daily basis, the current editor of the Herald. She knows what it's like for journalists at the coalface of the newsroom. She knows why they're making those decisions. She's acted in those roles before. So that's quite useful, actually. And I know that actually Brent Webbling, he was a sub-editor before he became a press secretary as well. So he might have some residual knowledge of how newsrooms actually work. I think that's going to be important when you're actually trying to tell journalists how to do their job. It's nice for them to know that you've actually done that job or have a clue what they're facing on a daily basis.
All right, let's move on. You wanted to mark another bombing in Gaza, which again has killed journalists.
Yeah, Israel again, another missile strike, this time on Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis. They struck it once, then as journalists and rescuers rushed to the scene, struck again, and that second strike seems to have killed 5 journalists. They've worked with Reuters, AP, Al Jazeera, Middle East Eye. 4 healthcare workers apparently have also been killed, and one of the people who's dead, Reuters news agency said its cameraman Hussam El-Masri was among the dead. He was filming, I think, on the hospital rooftop when the strikes hit. AP said another of its freelancers, Mariam Daga, she was only 33. She was killed. And this follows, of course, Israel killing Al Jazeera correspondent Anas al-Sharif and 4 of his colleagues earlier in August. So this, just to reiterate, is the deadliest conflict for journalists ever documented.
And in all of those cases, some kind of justification has been provided by the Israel government?
Well, yes. So Benjamin Netanyahu, in this case, said the strikes at Nasser Hospital were a tragic mishap, and he promised a full investigation. Now, that's pretty hard to swallow, given this was not one strike, but 2. It was a double tap strike. They struck once, and then again when rescuers rushed to the scene. Israel has obviously long boasted of its military precision. It will take out Hamas commanders while they're sleeping in their bedrooms, so it's quite hard to say how this was a tragic mishap. I'm sure that investigation will let us know. Now, its officials as well, they tried to claim that Anas al-Sharif was part of Hamas and what they called a mouthpiece of intellectual terrorism, which I found to be a chilling phrase. And to justify that, they only really offered 5-year-old documents as evidence. So that wasn't really that credible, and they also didn't account for why they killed 4 others along with him, why those deaths were justifiable. I guess that's just collateral damage if you're trying to strike someone.
All right. 10 minutes to 9 is the time here on RNZ National. It's Hayden Donnell's final midweek Media Watch. Murray and Porirua has sent a text. Thank you, Hayden, for all of your excellent work at RNZ. I've always enjoyed your bone-dry humour and your insistence that the media has a duty to hold power to account whatever you do next. I hope you'll keep banging on about this. That's from Murray.
Thanks, Murray.
Well, let's finish by talking about RNZ. Because there's been a lot going on in the world, and, well, RNZ, whose ratings and popularity has been a big topic of media discussion, has been showing some signs of life.
Gasping in the tomb, that's RNZ. Up 7,000 listeners. That's the intake of breath you hear in the recent GfK survey, up from 467,700 to 475,800. RNZ Concerts audience as well has gone up. It's gone up about 7,000 as well. Combined
About
audience.
8,000, I think.
Oh, 8,000. You're right. 162 to 170. So they're outshining us even. What's going on over on Concert?
There you go.
They must be playing some Beethoven. What's your favourite classical composer, Emil?
Bach.
Bach.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Gosh, that's austere.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm a big
Who's your
Beethoven.
favourite?
Beethoven.
You're a big Beethoven guy?
Beethoven, yeah. Love that stuff.
Like a bit of
I like my
Chopin?
composers to be deaf.
I mean, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
He clunks down. Yeah, it's an amazing feat.
pretty
It's one of the amazing feats of our time.
Yeah.
He clunks down those
Well,
keys.
our time.
Yeah, I'd call it my time. I'm the vampire that you're talking about.
I mean, that is good news, green shoots for RNZ, but the story still is Newstalk ZB is dominant.
Yeah, 620,000. That's more than 100,000 more. Still dominant, but it was down 27,000 listeners in this survey.
Yeah.
So RNZ National creeping up, Newstalk ZB creeping down, but there's still a long way until those arrows meet.
A lot of people are down. Even the, More FM was up, but the Breeze was down, ZB was down.
Yeah. Breeze down 55,000.
ZM up, but marginally, only 400 or so people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting survey.
Yeah, interesting survey and probably much needed good news for RNZ at the moment, right?
Well, this does come hot on the heels, doesn't it, of the Sutherland report. You know you've made it when you've written a report and it's known by your surname. The
Yeah.
Sutherland report, highly critical.
Are we calling it the Sutherland
Well, I
report, or
think
am I coining that right now?
No, I think other people have been calling it that.
I think it's a striking enough report that it deserves to be the Sutherland report. It's
Highly
forthright.
critical. This report has been characterised as highly critical, and this comes hot on the heels. And so, what? Everything's fine. RNZ is fine, and everything is now fine.
Well, I think they're a bit cautious about saying everything's fine, but Paul Thompson did say, look, the strategy that we're putting in place after the Sutherland report is starting to pay dividends. Now, they've done a few things. Just to remind you what the Sutherland report actually said, it said that RNZ should target 50 to 69-year-olds. It said, quite controversially, some people just shouldn't be on air. And now it said there's blame shifting, a perception that radio's a sunset industry among RNZ's staff, and it said that the station is too Wellington focused and it should be a bit more Auckland centric. Now, RNZ has done a few things about that. It's appointing a chief audio officer. It is training staff more on air, how to actually sound good on air. You can tell that I haven't had any of that just yet, and I don't think they'll be giving it to me actually.
Hey,
Mel.
here's a question: Did you get voice training at any point?
Oh, only very briefly.
Really?
About 4 years ago.
Right. Okay.
You learn on the job, and the station will be sort of focusing more on Auckland as well. So that is one of the things they're doing. They're saying green shoots. Is this just a statistical anomaly, though? Because it's not really. It's probably within the margin of error stuff. I'm not sure there are margin of errors on GfK's surveys, but you'd have to see a sustained trend before you could say, look, this strategy's really paying off and it's all happening for us.
Also, the survey periods tend to be, well, I can't actually remember what this one was. I think it was May till the start of August, the last survey period, and
Yes.
And many of those changes wouldn't have flowed through by then. I mean, the GfK surveys are, it seems, the best data that the radio industry has to measure listenership, and at the same time, they're still done through sort of logbooks and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, and how are TV ratings done? There's problems with that as well.
Well, it's still the Nielsen. Is it still the Nielsen boxes?
Yes, I
those were
think
given
so.
out decades ago.
I know, so it's a little bit of a you got to be a bit skeptical about some of the pictures that they provide. But look, it's definitely a good sort of indication of where things are at for everyone. It's not going to be wildly off base, and you do wonder whether RNZ is turning things around. There are some more political panel shows. There's some various things going on to make it a bit more lively. I don't know. Not my monkeys, not my circus.
Not my circus, not my monkeys, all the other way around.
Monkeys
I mean,
anymore.
it still works. Well,
Anymore, yes.
no, that's wrong, Hayden, because these are still your monkeys for
Because
the
I'm
next
paying
4
for it as a
minutes.
taxpayer.
Well, and
the
because
next
you're
4
paying
months,
it
yes.
for it as a taxpayer, exactly. Well, I mean, have you been reflecting on your current place of employment, RNZ, now that your time here is coming to an end in this report? And
Not a huge amount. I think
or
I'm a
just
bit burned out of media commentary, to be honest. It has been a pleasure. There are some people around here that I would give more opportunities, like young Bonnie Harrison in the control room just back there. Great talent, sort of wasting away in the night's production role.
Oh, hang on.
Having to deal with Emil Donovan
Hang on, the
every
brain's
day
got
in and day out, Anyway, I get
Hayden,
her
your
on the
mic's-
air.
we might have to cut you off.
You can't cut me off. I'm going. No, look, Guy and Espino, he could be on more roles. He's a very experienced, great broadcaster that's sort of on podcasts. He'd be great on the radio. As Richard Sutherland says, it should be all hands on deck with all the talent that we have. So we should be, if we're paying the talent, they should be on the radio. Maybe there's a bit more of that. And look, more people with more knowledge than me know how to turn this place around. I'm not going to say I have the prescription, but there's some people that I'd get on the air. Nathan Rarity, great guy. He should be on the air a lot more, I think. Emil Donovan, move him into the afternoon so that he can get home and see his lovely partner.
Whoa.
I don't know. Give him all a role. Give him Midday Report.
I have enjoyed...
Sorry about that, Charlotte.
You're really making some enemies
I don't know.
here,
I'm
aren't
just
you?
giving away everyone's jobs right now. Look,
Marie, I've enjoyed Hayden Donnell on Mediawatch. Hayden, so long, says Ian. It's been good to know you. Thanks for telling us the goings-on of the journalism and much else. Big thanks to Hayden Donnell for all the great Mediawatch programs you've held. Gee, the love is coming through for you here, Hayden.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed this role. I have some advice for media companies. Stop pivoting to video.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Stop it, for goodness sake. Keep the preferred Prime Minister poll. Colin Peacock is full of crap on that one.
Yeah,
He's always saying he hates it, but it's great.
Good. It's a good point.
More media commentators should be composing jingles for their own shows.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, the
It hasn't
jingles...
always been popular when I've tried to
It has
pioneer
not.
that, but I think it's actually a really important thing. Objectivity. It's not being perfectly neutral on all things and just emptying your mind and making it a placid pool. It's being an honest broker of information. Don't get suckered in by the whingers trying to work the refs and saying you need to give credence to stuff that's obviously dumb or wrong or unsubstantiated in the name of being neutral. Actually, you should be searching for truth more than anything else. And the old saying about a journalist's job isn't to say whether, quote two people and whether it's raining, it's to look out the window.
You got there in the end.
God, it was hard. I've forgotten. I'm already deleting it from the hard drive, aren't I? The journalist sayings. And look, it's been great. Thank you so much, RNZ. I came to this job 5 years ago. I had a 6-month-old baby. I needed a bit of stability, and it has been a beautiful job for me. It's been so good to provide that stability, and Colin Peacock has been the perfect boss. As much as I have hassled him and harangued him and been so mean, I really want to
You really
apologise
have
for
been
that,
mean to him over the years,
Colin,
haven't you?
because he has been an amazing boss, best boss I've ever had, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work with him. He's a great media watcher. You might think he's a prickly guy and the most feared man in New Zealand, as one feature once called him, but he's actually a really lovely person.
Man. Well, the Bonnie Harrison is in here, and we have gotten you a wee present, and I'll just
Thank
say
you. It's a plain cardboard box.
it's in the box, Hayden.
What's in the box? It looks like
You can
that
open it.
box
It's okay.
from Seven.
It's not gonna...
Oh, it's a mug.
It's a nice mug.
I never won the quiz.
Exactly. You're one of the special few who didn't win the quiz. And
Oh
didn't have
my
the mug.
gosh, you don't even necessarily get one of these if you win the quiz.
Hayden,
Thank you.
It's been a blast, and I really love your mind and your company, and so thank you, and all the best at the spin-off.
Thank you, Emil.